I want to be passed around so bad, but my boyfriend just wants a monogamous relationship. It's 2024. Expecting to be with one person for your entire life is like unreasonable. I'm a young 18-year-old Latina. I'm trying to get my face blasted by multiple men. Like, I haven't even had a quickie in a bathroom stall. I have so much to live for. And you're telling me that I have to stay with this one guy because I love him so much. But there's literally guys out there with 13-inch meats waiting to destroy me.
I am tired of Earth. These people.
I left my boyfriend and I've been traveling for 10 days and I've slept with 22 people in that 10 days. My goal was 20 and I just hit 22 this morning. It's 1 p.m. now here in Paris and I need to check out because I'm going home. I really doubt I'm going to get another one on the board, either on the plane or like on my layover. So I think 22 is where we're going to cap it out. But how did I go?
Brother,
Okay, this is an example of a man that we would have gotten in the 1940s, okay? Notice his stature, notice his jawline, super square face, notice his dress, okay? This definitely looks a lot different than what we see in modern day, right? There's no video games, there's no OF subscriptions, there's no corn, just good old-fashioned masculine frame and presence. Guys like these today are really rare.
Alright, so first things first, I'll show you a picture from 1932 from other men during that period. Notice, however, how she didn't pick any of those guys. Those are regular men, they look regular, they work a regular job. She didn't pick those guys to make her point about men in the past being more masculine. Why? Well, notice there are no sharp jawlines, there are no suits and scarves, right? These are not tall men, these are just your average men. So this just goes to show that these modern women, no matter where you put them in the time frame of our human history, they will still go for the top 5% of guys. We're looking at a man that appears to be in shape, probably has a six-pack, appears to be upper class, he is well dressed, right? He is tall, he's all those things that women are chasing after nowadays. So if you bring in this point of men not being masculine anymore, but you're still going for the same kind of guy that you're going for today, your argument doesn't hold water, right? Second things, what makes you think that you're entitled to this type of men, right? They always say how they want the traditional man, but they don't want to be traditional themselves. If this man was her husband and he comes back home and he tells her, "Where's my dinner? I've been working all day. Where's my dinner?" Oh, don't relegate me to those tasks. I'm modern and independent. I'm liberated. Well, what do you mean I have to cook for you? I'm not your mother, right? They love to say this. They always want the masculine guy who is traditional, who does the traditional things that men do, like pay for dates, open doors, and all those things, buy her flowers. But they don't want to put in their part of the work to be a traditional marriage, right? Another thing, and I'll finish with this. This man, around the time, I can assure you, he was dating an elegant woman, a classy woman, a supportive and loyal woman, and a woman who didn't have a high body count, alright? Do you fulfill any of those criteria? Are you loyal? Do you have a large body count? Let me guess, yes, right? So, guys, this is just absurd. These women thinking that they deserve these sorts of men, just pathetic. But now, guys, let's move on to another woman that is in her 30s and is trying to cope with the fact that she cannot date the 10 out of 10 men who happen to be the top 5% of men. Let's take a listen. So, for those of you not watching, the comment says, "Do you have any advice how I can shake the thought that I'm worth less now that I'm older, late 30s? And let's take a look at this dating coach slash life coach slash marriage and relationships coach slash success coach give a reply.
Number one, this is both a logical and emotional thought. So let's address both the logic and the emotion behind the thought. And the answer, your solution to being able to shake the thought that I am worth less now that I'm older, late 30s, the solution is that you have to address it in both your subconscious and conscious minds. But first, subconscious and conscious, those are theoretical concepts, people, okay? We're not going to talk about it like it's fact. Even though I know a lot of psychologists with way more credentials than me talk about it that way. My only credential is a lot of really bad therapy. A lot of learning the hard way. And also, all this genius right now, this is where I do the work.
Yeah, so of course, guys, her credentials are just being run through. Those are her credentials. She has them pinned on the wall, right? Sorry. And also, it's like, you're giving this advice, and of course, guys, we're not gonna get into the specifics. Alright, this is just theory. We're not gonna get into the theory, even though most psychologists do. Why? Because we are narcissistic women, and we cannot talk about things that are specific, things that are practical, because then all the blame is on us, right? Because when we're talking in real terms, it turns out we are the ones who are at fault for our own mistakes. So we're not gonna do that.
This is my ironing board. 1. Addressing the conscious and the logical. Make a list of all the property and assets that men have put in your name. Okay, so here's my list. Oh, I have nothing to write. My point being that one of the reasons we're afraid and we feel like we're worth less as we get older is because we are taught that our currency is in our youth and our beauty, and we're supposed to trade in on it. But we can't be open about trading in on it. For a lot of people, the only legitimate trade is to get married and have children with the man, and then for you to get compensated for that currency that is your youth and beauty. So it's never...
I mean, yeah, it's about that. Because marriage is something that requires good things in a person. For him to be loyal, so we're talking about a wife here. For her to be loyal, for her to know how to make a home out of a house, for her to support her husband, to raise her children properly. Okay, those are all good things that are needed. For you to just go around jumping from chat to chat, that doesn't take anything. It doesn't take being loyal. It doesn't take being a good person. Every woman can do that. Every woman can spread her legs and get 100 guys lined up to enter her, right? Everybody can do that. There's no credit for that. Like, what worth do you expect to get out of that? We're making the point that, men, they only view worth when you're in a marriage. Of course, because everything outside of marriage, everyone can do, right? And second thing, let me point this out. Women do certainly have value in the fact that they are attractive for men, right? It's a massive value, and a lot of women exploit it. But it's not their only value, all right? Women have a lot of value just in their personality, in their character, in the way they behave themselves, in them being elegant, okay? In all their characteristics, they have a lot of things to offer. But here comes the kicker. This is something, you know, respect is earned. If you want to have, in the same way that worth is earned, if you want to have worth, if you want to be valuable, you have to do things to achieve that value. It's not simply given to you by the mere fact that you're a woman, right? So if everything you've done throughout your life is go through situationships, get a divorce, break a family, get a second divorce, be single for 10 years, jumping from situation to situation, if that is your lifestyle, and it is the lifestyle of most modern women in the West, you have no value. Not because we men say so, we don't dictate it, we just observe it. You yourself have decided that you don't want to be valuable. You have chosen this path that doesn't lead to any sort of value or worth in men's eyes, and in the world's eyes in general. So I just want to make that clear, okay? We men are not going around saying that all women are worth is just their beauty and their physical appearance. No. Because when a woman that is married gets old, her husband still loves her, even though she doesn't look as good as she did 20 years ago. All right? We all look worse when we age. But Her man finds a lot of value in her, but these women, guys, that never accepted a man, that never were part of a serious relationship, that decided to sell their body for free, all right? These women, they have no value at all, zero.
An even trade. And my point being that this feeling that you're worth less, it doesn't matter because men are not going to offer you more than when you were younger. Now, if you are a woman and you are able to write down a bunch of assets and property, then good on you, because I can understand why you would be fearful. So if you're able to own this, that men's attention, that men's lust and their desire is one of the main reasons you fear aging, that can empower you, because you make a list and you're like, wow, in what way does that even benefit me? It doesn't. But that's only addressing the very surface logic, and your question in part is emotional because you've been groomed into believing this since we were children. So me giving you one piece of logical, helpful information can't override all of the emotions that may come up for you. So the potentially more powerful part is the subconscious, and what I would suggest is you need to have a very serious physical practice, lifting weights, yoga. Weights are my favorite, Pilates, and in that practice every single day of gratitude of what it is to be in your body right now and accepting this is the youngest I'll ever be and working through some of those thoughts while you're in your physical practice. Because talking about it and thinking about it is going to end up in rumination.
Yes, I understood absolutely everything. So to summarize this, in case you didn't understand her points were blah, 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 blabber, yabba, yabba, dooida. That's it. That's what she said, guys. It's a lot of word salads. It's a lot of technical words here and there and talking a lot because it makes us sound intelligent. No, everybody who has managed to listen to you for 3 minutes, because the content was quite boring, to be honest, and absolutely to be dismissed, all right, uninteresting, and no points were made at all, you're not sounding intelligent, okay? The fact that you can speak doesn't make you intelligent, as Qui-Gon rightfully pointed. Guys, let me just summarize this for you. Essentially what it is: men will view a woman to be valuable if she is a good person. That's it, okay? Forget about your 3 minutes of a PowerPoint presentation. You don't need all of that, and the emotional and the non-emotional and the write a list down. No, cut that crap out. Just be a good person, damn it, a decent human being. You know, be loyal. Most men, if you ask them what they're looking for, they'll tell you the rule of the 3 Fs: feminine, fit, friendly. That's it, right? That's what men want. You ask a man if he will be okay to be in a relationship with a woman that is friendly, fit, and feminine, and 99 out of 100 will say yes. Right, so that's it. I don't think we're asking for too much, guys, if I have to be honest. It's just a lot of these women, honestly, they haven't succeeded at being good, viable options for a relationship. They're coming in with all their divorces behind their back and their massive body counts and all the years they've wasted on bad men that they chose, and they want to cope with the fact, right? And they want to sleep better at night by making these long TikToks that say nothing at all. But that's my take. What are your thoughts? But now, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to our last TikTok of the day. The caption reads, "Our biological clock is not a man's responsibility." Let's take a listen.
I had a guy write into me the other day, and he tells me that he's dating this woman and she uses the first date as if it's a job interview. She's 34 years old, and all she's talking about on the first date is how she wants to get married right away, she wants kids right away. He felt so awkward, and it made him feel uncomfortable, and it made him feel a lot of pressure. Rightfully so. Once women hit their 30s, they date differently. They don't date and try to get to know the person. They date and they rush the person. They focus more on their priorities in terms of their biological clock.
Yes, absolutely. Let me finish her thought. Women over 30, when they are rushing in to get married and have kids or to secure the relationship, they're not in it for love. They view you as a retirement plan. That's all you are for them, guys. If these women, okay, here's my logic. Try to follow along. If these women were in it for love and the butterflies and their priorities of forming a family, if that were true, they wouldn't be 30, okay? They wouldn't have waited for so long. You meaning to tell me that from age, let's say 20, you've had 10 years all right, 10 years to find a person and commit in some way, and you haven't. And now that you're over 30, a lot of times in their late 30s, late 40s, sometimes even in their 50s, they're still looking for Prince Charming, quote unquote. You're telling me that you needed all this time? What were you doing in this time, right? If your priority is love and a family, what were you doing 10 to 20 years? They're not in it for love, guys. They view you only as a retirement plan, only like another pension, right, that they want to have. And my honest opinion, every man is worth more than that. So turn your back around when you see these women, guys.
Etc. But you have to get to know the person. You try to see if you connect. This makes me actually understand why men want to date younger, because if women are right from the get-go on first dates saying, hey, listen, we need to have babies right away and we need to get married right away, to a literal stranger, that would make me think that person's crazy. Our biological clock, it's not men's responsibility. That's our own responsibility. And that's why a lot more women need to realize that they need to date with more intention in their 20s, because it's a real thing. We have a biological clock. And then when you get to your 30s, you don't want to be out there desperately dating, trying to rush men into marrying you and having kids, because that's just not fair for men at the end of the day, right? And also, you need to really know someone before you commit to them and get married and have kids. So this isn't the first time that I've heard this from men. This happens.
I'm gonna pause it right here, guys. Is this video making too much sense to you? It's odd, isn't it? Like, it's strange. You didn't expect to come to my channel today and find a logical video, did you? It's so weird to see a woman that actually makes some sense and makes some good points, and you can follow her logic. And she's not talking about deserve. She's not talking about God's plan and the universe and whatever not, right? It's so it's so strange. So take for example this woman. How many men do you think will commit to her, right? Notice also the difference that when this woman is actually part of reality and is not a self-deluded narcissist, she speaks in this soft tone of voice. She is normal. She's pleasant to be around. You would like to go out on a coffee and finish this conversation, right? Not like with the other women who just are shouting and yelling and bitter and everything is wrong for them, right? Like, you can clearly see the difference, guys. And let me tell you, women like these, who are pleasant to be around, if they show up and you start to date them and they bring up marriage and kids in the first few months, a lot of men will not be afraid to commit, right? Because she can back it off. She can back her demands by the fact that she really does prioritize a family and, you know, all those important things. But these other women that are trying to rush it, the problem is not itself that they're rushing it, all right? It's the problem that they've waited until they were 30. And of course, they've been fooling around all this time. But let's continue, guys, with probably the last TikTok of the year from a pleasant woman.
To men quite often, and I think women need to just chill out. Just because it's your priority now, because your time is running up, it's unfair to bring that baggage onto a guy that you don't even know, right? And it's a little bit different if it's a conversation that comes up. But what I find from these women is that they're bringing it up and they're kind of trying to test the waters and kind of rush the guy. That woman even told him, well, you know what? People are getting married after knowing each other for only a month. And I was like, what? People are getting married after knowing each other for a month? That's more of an exception. That's not the rule. Dating within...
Yeah, it's not only an exception, but in the situations that it does happen, and I'm not talking about some junkies getting married, right? Because they were drunk. In the situations that does happen is because those people trust each other and have known each other for a while, all right? It's not because some desperate, miserable 35-year-old single mom wanted a father figure for her son after kicking the original one.
Intention doesn't mean bringing up marriage and kids on the first date. I think that would scare any guy off, and rightfully so, because that is just crazy behavior. Get to know the guy, see if it flows. You both should mutually be on the same page. The first date should be more casual, trying to get to know the person. It's a red flag if a woman brings those things up on a first date. If she's over 30, then she cares more about the marriage and the kids and not the actual guy. And that's just a complete red flag, and I think men should avoid women like that at all.
Here ends the TikTok, guys. And I absolutely agree with this woman's advice. What a pleasant lady, guys. Just it's so pleasant from time to time, from 8 months or so, to see here and there a woman that makes some sense and is not absolutely entitled through the roof. Like the first one we covered in this video, right? Who was talking about the top 5% of men that have to be traditional while she provides nothing in return. That will be it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. Leave me your thoughts about this video down in the comments, and I'll be really happy to see you next time. Have a good one.